guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to another closer look video. Today we're going to the 80s, and probably apart from Gary Numan, there was one other artist that Gary Numan and David Bowie, as you know, are my absolute go-tos, but there was a band in the 1980s that were phenomenal and above everyone else. And they were sort of in between a kind of dark wave, if you like, and new romantic sort of scene, or new wave, and they just were above everything else, I think. And we're going to talk about and have a look at Japan. Obviously the band of David Sylvian, who is one of my favourite artists, as you well know. I've covered David a few times on my channel. So today we're looking at his band, Japan, which started life in this sort of mid kind of 70s to late 70s as a kind of almost glam rock kind of, glam rock is a bit, no, I wouldn't class as glam rock. I would say sort of kind of New York punk. If you think of bands that were coming out of America, like New York Dolls and stuff like that, they kind of started off like that, and they weren't particularly mostly getting the most success. They did release 2 albums, which we will have a look at. Let me grab them both. Their debut album, Japan, sorry about the crack on the case, there's nothing I can do about it, and Adolescent Sex. Again, that crack is pretty much in the same place. I think they were filed in the same place, but yes, they're 2 albums. And then they must have discovered synthesizers, or they were sort of taken under the wing by their record company to change direction. And obviously their music tastes probably weren't reflected in this music, because I know David is very much into sort of world music and almost classical music, and he is very strongly influenced by sort of music from the Far East. He was very into that kind of music. And they decided to blend sort of synth pop, if you will, or dark synth music with Middle Eastern music, with world music. And they came out with a sound that was like no other, and they were absolutely fantastic. And they went on to produce a few albums, not many. They broke up in 1982, but they did produce 3 studio albums. They produced Quiet Life, they produced Gentleman Takes Polaroids, and they produced Tin Drum. So we're going to look at those albums today, and look at a couple of we'll look at a compilation that I have, Adolescent Sex, which is a combination of some sort of singles mixed with some of the early album tracks, which is quite interesting, and their live album, Oil on Canvas, which was I was at Hammersmith. It's recorded at the show I was at, so, and that was on their last tour. I also have a bootleg CD called Boys Keep Swinging, which is a David Bowie song, which is a broadcast from 1981. We'll have a look at those, but we're going to also have a look at Quiet Life, their super deluxe box set of Quiet Life, which is a 3 CD 1 LP set. So we've got a little bit to get through, so we won't waste too much time. Let's have a deep down look at Japan. So what I thought we'd do, guys, I thought I'd split this into little groups. We will start with just closing my window a bit. We will start with the studio albums first, and then we'll have a look at the live albums, the compilation that I've got, and then we'll have a look at the super deluxe of Quiet Life. So these are 2 early albums. We have Adolescent Sex. Trying to remember which one was first. I can't read the writing on there, it's way too small. I'm sure this was the first album, I'm sure it was. But anyway, great album. It's quite rocky, and this was released as a set of remasters that they've done together, repackaged with bonus tracks. Let's have a look to see at the booklet on this one. So it just goes a little bit like through the album. This came out in 1978. Some pictures there of some of the early singles. The track listing is on the back. I will do my best to try and read it, but it's quite small on here. So bear with me, guys. Transmission. The something emotional. I can't read it because it's so small. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to read the titles there unless I can find my other phone and take a quick picture, because the writing on the back of this is so small. Even with my glasses on, it's quite difficult to pick up. So I'll take a quick snap on my phone, and I should be able to read off the tracks to you. So let's have a quick look. The track listing on this album is Transmission, The Unconventional, Wish You Were Black, okay, Performance, Lovers on Main Street, Don't Rain on My Parade, Subterranean Love, Adolescent Sex, Communist China, and Television. And this one has videos on here, bonus videos, which if you probably put into your computer will work. Unfortunately, I don't have a computer, but it has the videos for Don't Rain on My Parade, Communist China, Adolescent Sex, and Adolescent Sex Rare Alternative video. And the band on this album was David Sylvian, lead vocals and second guitar, Mick Kahn on bass, guitar and vocals, Steve Jansen, drums, vocals and percussion, Rob Dean on lead guitar and vocals, and Richard Barbaria on keyboards and vocals. Very cool. And it was produced by Ray Singer. Amazing, really cool. It's a really cool album. Like I said, it's completely different to all of Japan. Now, Japan you will probably know for Quiet Life, Ghosts, Life in Tokyo, things like that. But this was before then. They were a more sort of heavier, sort of post-punk, like I said, maybe American New York kind of style punk. As you can see their image, it's not too separate from Hanoi Rocks or something like that. But really, really cool. And then they went on to release, I think, Obscure Alternatives, which I think was their second album. I'm sure it was. Once again, it's a part of the series. We know what the inside looks like. So we'll have a quick flick through here. We have some lyrics in here to the songs, which I'll never be able to read them. They're way too small. And some notes about the production of this, and it is the same lineup in the band. I think they stayed pretty much the same lineup for quite a while. I think Rob Dean did leave later on in the band. I think maybe after Quiet Life, I think he might have left. But yeah, I need to replace these cases. I must just order some from Amazon, replacement cases, but I don't want to lose the sticker. That's the problem. That's why I haven't changed it. But yeah, they're the two early albums. Then they released Quiet Life, which was a change of direction. It was more of a new wave electronic synth driven album. Really cool. Obviously Richard Barbera came into his own here and started to come into his own. There's a wonderful picture there of them looking very new romantic there. See, David's image has started to change there as well. Where's my booklet? It's in there. It does come with the booklet. Japanese sort of style booklet, and it gives us the story of the album Quiet Life, and of course post-production notes and the original back cover of the album. Your track listing on this album. Let me just pop this away, guys. I'm all over the place, aren't I? Right, so the track listing for Quiet Life is Quiet Life, Fall in Love with Me, Despair, In Vogue, Halloween, All Tomorrow's Parties, which is a cover version of Velvet Underground, I believe, Alien, The Other Side of Life. So it was only an 8-track album, but the songs were quite lengthy. And it got the bonus tracks on here of All Tomorrow's Parties, 1983 remix, All Tomorrow's Parties 7-inch mix, A Foreign Place, which was the B-side of A Quiet Life, the Quiet Life single version, and a bonus video of Quiet Life as well. These were released, I think, when CD-ROMs were the sort of in thing, and they released these set, which was weird because that was on a sort of a paper sort of one, but these weren't. These were on normal cases. But there we go, because it was released. They were all released at the same time, along with Ensemblage. Anyway, after Quiet Life was successful, they released Gentleman Takes Polaroids, which is my favourite Japan album. Now, Quiet Life was always in the nice price range. It was always one of the cheap albums. Like if you went into Boots or your record shop, it would always be the cheaper album to buy. I think mostly because it was quite short. It was only 8 tracks, but it was a really, really cool album, and it came out around about 1979, I believe. I'm sure it was 79. I could be wrong again. I could be wrong about everything, because I'm now thinking, I wonder if this is 78. I think that's 78, and I think that might be 77. I really can't remember, guys. You must apologise. I must apologise in ahead, just because I can't read the dates on this disc. All it's got on here is the compilation, the actual album CD release, which was 2006. Just let me check in here. So this was 1978. So 1978, they must have released the 2 albums. And then in 1979 was Quiet Life. I think Ensemblage came out before. No, it didn't. 1981. So this must be 1980. I'll take it. Yeah, it's just my old age, guys. I'm just getting so rubbish with dates. I really am. Anyway, we'll return to the incredible Gentleman Takes Polaroids. An amazing album. Whoops. An incredible album. Really, really cool. No booklet with these ones that came out. It didn't come with a booklet. It just came with unreadable text. Red on black, which is not always the best. The track listing on this album is Gentleman Takes Polaroids, Swing, Burning Bridges, My New Career. Those 4 tracks together, this to me is an absolute masterpiece, but those 4 tracks together are mind-blowing. And then on side 2 you had Methods of Dance, Ain't That Peculiar, Night Porter, and Taking Islands in Africa. Again, it was another 8-track album, with bonus tracks on here of the Experience of Swimming, which was a B-side. I'm sure that was on the B-side of The Art of Parties. I'm sure it was. I could be wrong. Might have been Ghost. The Width of the Room, and Taking Islands in Africa, which is a remix from the last one, which was a B-side again to another single. But there we go. Really cool album. They're getting to their height of their career now and becoming really popular. And some of the old tracks that they had done in the past came out as singles on the back of all this sort of stuff. Quiet Life, I think, came back out. I think we had European Sun, Life in Tokyo, I Second That Emotion, and that all came out between these last 2 albums because they were getting really popular and successful. And then they released Tin Drum, which ended up being their final studio album after David left the band and went his own separate way to pursue his solo career. The rest of the band went and done other things. Mick Karn, I believe, did some work with Peter Murphy under Dallas Carr, and maybe done some other work. Obviously, Richard Barbera went on to do Porcupine Tree. Steve Jansen worked with David on occasions. Some of the members reformed for a project called Nine Horses, and I believe the entire lineup reformed for a project called Rain Tree Crow later on in the 90s. But anyway, this is Tin Drum. There's the original cover. Lovely set, this one. Oh, again, there's a problem with these things. These do jump out. And that's the image everybody remembers David as back in the day. And the lineup on this album had changed. It's David Sylvian, Steve Jansen, Richard Barbera, and Mick Karn. So they lost Rob Dean at this point. But fantastic album. Just trying to see if it gives me the official release date on here. It gives me the release date of the remaster, which is 2003. Wow, 2003. These so need a new update, don't they? They really need. Where's Stephen Wilson when you need him? Yeah, I've always had this problem with this popping out. Where's Stephen Wilson? He should be doing this at these albums. Anyway, I believe this was probably late 81, maybe early 82. The track listing on this album is The Art of Parties, Talking Drum, Ghosts, probably their most famous and their biggest hit, Canton, which was also a single, Still Life in Mobile Homes, Visions of China, another single, Sons of Pioneers, and Cantonese Boy. So this has got 8 tracks on it, and 4 of those were singles. So that's how popular they were, being that the record company Virgin were on the roll and wanted their stuff out to make more money, obviously. I remember Cantonese Boy being released as a double single, 2 7-inch singles. I do remember that. But anyway, it comes with that. It does come with a booklet, and it comes with an added, these are the added tracks, and this is the Art of Parties single. Mick Karn, Richard Barbera there, and Steve Jansen. So I believe this is almost like a replica of the single of The Art of Parties, which has the Art of Parties single, Life Without Buildings, The Art of Parties live, and it's got the added Ghost single version. Because I believe, like I said, I believe that the B-side of Ghosts was on here, which I think was Experience of Swimming. I'm a bit confused now. I thought the Experience of Swimming was the B-side of this, but I could be wrong. But anyway, that's a nice little add-on. You got the Art of Parties single. They didn't put the extra tracks on there. They added it as an extra disc. So here's the booklet to go along with Tin Drum, which has pictures of David from that period. Steve there. David and Richard. Steve. David in the studio. Richard and David. That was their guest musician. I can't remember his name. Yuki Fujio, something like that his name was. So, do we have a picture of Mick Karn in here? I'm sure we do. That's probably Mick Karn there. So it's just like a little photo book. Richard again. Mick Karn in Cambridge Place in Chelsea. And David and the 4 empty chairs. So yeah, so that's what comes in that set. So that was it, guys. That is the studio albums of Japan. Tin Drum, Gentleman Takes Polaroids, Quiet Life, Obscure Alternatives, and of course Adolescent Sex. So they were the albums. Like I said, in the midst of all that, they did release a compilation album called Ensemblage, which was quite popular. I remember this being another sort of mid-price sort of range, and it was a collection of early album tracks and sort of missing singles that are from the albums that are on here. So it was come out on the sort of mixture of the three previous albums, plus, like I said, the unreleased tracks that didn't make it to any album. Once again, we have a copy of like the Japanese version. Music magazine covers and some credits and some single covers. I remember having all those. Well, I had that one and that one, that's for sure. And that's it. So we'll read through the track listing if I can. I quite enjoyed this album actually. I thought this was a really good album. It has the tracks Adolescent Sex, State Line, Communist China, Rhodesia, Suburban Berlin, Life in Tokyo, European Sun, All Tomorrow's Parties, Quiet Life, and I Second That Emotion. So side 2 was almost like a singles collection. It was all the singles that weren't on any album. You got the bonus track of European Sun, 12-inch mix, I Second That Emotion, 12-inch mix, Life in Tokyo, 2 different versions, and then you have bonus videos of I Second That Emotion and Life in Tokyo. And the lineup on this album again was David Sylvian, Mick Karn, Steve Jansen, Richard Barbera, and Rob Dean. So this was to cover those early part of their career before they went heavily down the sort of electronic route. So that's really cool. But there was a live album that came out called Oil on Canvas, which was a historical representation of their final concerts before they departed ways. It's on the Tin Drum Tour. It's recorded at Hammersmith Odeon, which I went to the show. It's on the 2-disc set. Picture there of Richard and David, Steve and Mick. And the track listing is Oil on Canvas, which wasn't live. It was an unreleased track which they used, like they did. There's 3 unreleased tracks on here with instrumentals which they added onto the end to make this more of an arty sort of feel to it. Really cool. I so remember that sign. I've got a picture somewhere of me outside standing there with that. I can't find it, but if I could I'll put it on here. So yeah, All on Canvas. So the actual set list was Sons of Pioneers, Gentleman Takes Polaroid, Swing, Cantonese Boy, Visions of China, Ghosts, Voices Raised in Welcome, Hands Held in Prayer is another bonus track. Side 2 is Night Porter, Still Life in Mobile Homes, Methods of Dance, Quiet Life, The Art of Parties, Canton, and then again another instrumental extra track of Temple of Dawn. Really cool album, really cool. It's probably, to me, it's probably one of the best live albums of the 1980s. Again, no booklet with this. It was released solely like that, but really cool, amazing album. The album was green with a green border, if I remember right, and it had Japan All on Canvas written on it, and I played it to death. I ended up buying that album 3 times on vinyl, simply because I got through it all the time. But I do, like I said, I do have a bootleg recording here of Boys Keep Swinging. This is a concert from 1981, a radio broadcast. I try to avoid these sort of bootleg stuff, but when it comes from a band you love, you're just thinking, yeah, I'm going to pick it up. Anyway, this was recorded at Hammersmith Odeon in 1981. I didn't see them then. I saw them in 1982. I think this is on the back of Gentleman Takes Polaroids album. Contains the tracks Swing, Gentleman Takes Polaroids, Alien, Rhodesia, Quiet Life, My New Career, Taking Islands in Africa. It has Methods of Dance, Ain't That Peculiar, Halloween, and European Sun. So it's quite a good little set list. It covers quite a bit of their career. like I said, they were just after the Quiet Life and getting to releasing the Incredible Gentleman Takes Polaroid. So I think this is a part of that tour. Really, really cool. Not the best sound, but as historical thing, it's really, really cool. So we come to the big boy and have a look at the Super Deluxe set of Quiet Life. So I need to just bring this up there, just so we've got enough space to bring it out. I'll move these CDs out the way. So this is the Super Deluxe of Quiet Life. Very plain box. It does have a picture of the band on the back. I've no longer had the J card, sadly. I think it got a bit ruined. It's a bit of a shame, but I do still have this wonderful set, which I believe came out around about 2022. And I got excited. I thought we're going to be on a run of Japan Super Deluxe sets, and none of it has come out since. Anyway, so we'll look at the set itself. Here's the contents. So it's a nice box, very cool. It comes with the album on the vinyl with the original cover, but it does open out as a gatefold, which I don't remember that ever doing. But again, we've been through the track listing. Obviously, side 1, Quiet Life, Fall in Love with Me, Despair, In Vogue. Side 2, Halloween, All Tomorrow's Party, Alien, and The Other Side of Life. I believe it was released as a coloured vinyl as well, but I've only got the normal black vinyl version. This, I believe, was released originally on Hansa, but it's a heavyweight album, probably 180 gram album. Being released from BMG. I know I didn't think they would get the Tin Drum or Gentleman Takes Polaroids or Oil on Canvas, but I'm surprised they didn't get the other two albums, early albums, or Adolescent or Ensemblage, and release it as a collector's album, but they didn't. They've just released this one. So it comes with the vinyl. It also comes with 3 CDs in this pack there. Picture of David there. Comes with 3 CDs, a picture of the whole band, and they're all slotted into these sort of sets. We have the album Quiet Life. We have Quieter Life, I believe, which is an album of 12-inch versions, 7-inch versions, B-sides, and maybe a few sessions and unreleased tracks on it. And then we have a live album. But there's a few things about this live album. It's a bootleg. It's a bootleg recording. It's officially released, but the band wanted to release this album because they think it was historically important, because there isn't much recordings of Japan. And so, but they have done some work on it. It does sound okay. I'll give it a 6 or 7 out of 10 for sound quality, but it's nice to have because of its historical content, covering the Quiet Life sort of period tour. So the track listings on there. I've been through the album. On the CD2 Quieter Life, we have the alternative mix and rarities. We have European Sun 7-inch mix by Steve Nile. Life in Tokyo, Steve Nile 7-inch special remix. Quiet Life original German 7-inch mix. I Second That Emotion, Steve Nile 7-inch mix. All Tomorrow's Party, Steve Nile 7-inch remix. Europeans, as you can see, these come out after the popularity of Japan getting big. Like I said, they re-released some of their early stuff. And we've got Life in Tokyo from 1982. I Second That Emotion 12-inch remix from 1982. All Tomorrow's Parties from 1983. European Sun from 1982, when it was originally come out in 1980. So it's a different remix. Quiet Life Japanese 7-inch mix 1980. A Foreign Place. All Tomorrow's Parties John Punter 7-inch mix from 1979. and we have Life in Tokyo theme, Giorgio Moroder version 1979. And then we also have the Live in Japan EP, which never got released anywhere apart from in Japan, but I finally have it on this set, and it's just so good to get stuff like this. Anyway, Deviation, Obscure Alternatives, In Vogue, and Sometimes I Feel So Low, and they're all recorded live in Japan. So the live concert, which is at Budokan in 1980, has Intro, Alien, Rhodesia, Quiet Life, Fall in Love with Me, Deviation, All Tomorrow's Parties, Obscure Alternatives, In Vogue, Life in Tokyo, Halloween, Sometimes I Feel So Low, Communist China, Adolescent Sex, I Second That Emotion, and Atomic Gun. And so that's the full set of on those CDs. Just a shame it's not a proper official sort of release, but it's done from a bootleg, not even from a radio session. But there we go. What can we do? And it does come with a book, so we'll have a quick peek through this. Just make sure we've got it all in the camera. There we go. So we'll have a little peek through this book, and it goes through some of the. Oh, I still do have the J card. I thought I've chucked it away. So this is the J card that was on the outside. Right, so we've got a little bit of writing there from John Punter from 2020. It says it must be in 2020, not 2022. I think I got it in 2022. European Suns Rising. It's another essay. Early pictures of the band there from the Quiet Life period, obviously. David's famous leather jacket there. Mick Karn. Richard and Rob. Steve. And that essay was done by Anthony Reynolds in 2020 from a book called A Foreign Place, which was released by Burning Shed in 2015. Then we come to some colour pictures from some promo videos there by Second That Emotion. Some pictures of them at some different variation locations. Then we have a breakdown of the album. So here we have the vinyl breakdown and the CD one. 2021. There we go, 2021. So this must have been released 2022. I thought I bought it on release. And there we have some different album covers from some of the singles. Which ones did I have? I definitely had that one. I definitely had that Quiet Life, and I had that Life in Tokyo, and I had that European Sun. They're the ones that I had. Then we get on some live pictures here from some live concerts, early live concerts, which is really nice to see. And here we go about the live CD. I'll tell you what it says. This is an authentic, unprofessional live recording, thought to have been taken from a cassette recording. The concert has long been attributed incorrectly to the performance of the regional hall. The recording is, in fact, taken the world famous Budokan. So I think the bootleg was recorded somewhere else, when in fact it was Budokan. Whilst every effort has been made to improve the quality, including the speed correction, to correct the light stretching of the original tape, the recording is included here for a artifact of interest and not a representation of audio quality. It's great that they've done that. I love that they told you that this is a bootleg, that they've tried their best to make it sound the best they possibly could, but because of what it stands for and the artifact issue of it, because there's no real recordings of the band from the 1980 live, this is the best they could give, and I'm just glad it's in the set. Really, really cool. Then we have some black and white pictures. Mick, God rest his soul. There we are in the dressing rooms. Dave and his brother Steve. And it just gives you the lineup of the artists on this album, which is David Sylvian on vocals and occasional guitar, Mick Karn bass and saxophones, Steve Jansen drums and percussion, Richard Barberis synthesizers and keyboards, and Rob Dean on guitar. And then we have a picture on the reverse of the band. So there we go, guys. That is a closer look at the albums, well, the albums that I own of Japan. So as you can see, it's not a major big career, Japan. Obviously they were together from about 77, 76 up to 1982, and it's just really, really cool. I just realised that goes in there. And it was just so strange with these releases, when you know, when you put them together, they write the word Japan down the side, but it's the way they've done it is like, we'll put a couple out in gatefolds and a couple in normal. So, but unless they were released, but that's what I've got anyway when I bought them. But yeah, they were the albums of Japan, and they were a fantastic band, absolutely amazing, and it started my love affair with David Sylvian. I love Japan's work, I really, really do, but I've got to say I prefer David Sylvian's solo work. It's just my preference. Everyone's got their own choice, and I really thought I gave that. I really thought I chucked that away. I forgot I put it inside the book. So yeah, they are a wonderful, wonderful band. They were so different to all the other sort of bands that are out there. At this time, you had Depeche Mode, you had Gary Newman, you had Duran Duran, you had Orchestral Manoeuvres in the Dark, Human League, Thomas Dolby, you know, all these incredible artists, Howard Jones. But then Japan were not like them. They were just different to them all, and they were incredible, absolutely amazing. I loved them. Really, really cool. Thanks for coming into this long video. Been wanting a while to do a Japan video. I just love anything to do with David Sylvian. I've done box set video of his, I've done top 10s. I must do some more work with his stuff because I just think it's phenomenal. Massive shout out to my lad. Cheers, guys.